I'm Elena Bumgarner, and today I will be talking about the different aspects of being physically active and playing sports. In 2021, about 57% of high school students played on at least one school or community sports teams. I know quite a few of us in the classroom that are actively participating in a sport. I have been involved in sports for all my life. Both my parents were D1 athletes who are still heavily involved in those sports as they are both coaches now. As soon as I was able to, my parents put me into softball and I have been playing since. That was the start of my athletic career, I guess you could say. Since then, I've been involved in multiple other sports, and I am now a volleyball coach. So as you can see, sports and physical activity have been a big part of who I am. Now getting into my first main point, which is the mental aspect of sports and athletes. If you don't play a sport and you're not typically physically active, you may think that sports have nothing to do with your mental health. Advent Health has proven that sports boost your mood, reduce stress and depression, improve your sleep, and so much more. Strong evidence exists showing a 20 to 30% reduction in depression in adults who participate in physical activity. I can tell you firsthand that when I started practicing or competing in a sport, it immediately boosts my mood and I sleep better when I am involved in a sport every day. Among professional athletes, data shows that up to 35% of elite athletes suffer from mental illness. Michael Phelps, the most decorated Olympian ever, has spoken out about his depression and suicidal thoughts. He said he coped by drinking, which led him to get 2 DUIs. He ended up going to an inpatient treatment center where he learned to cope with his depression. While sports have a big impact on our mental health, it also has a huge impact on our physical health, which leads me into my second main point, that is the physical aspect sports has on an athlete. According to CDC.gov, staying physically active reduces the risk of heart disease and diabetes. It also helps strengthen your muscles and bones, which helps to reduce injury. Also, one of the biggest benefits of athletics is the ability to get kids out and moving. The generation of the young kids today have known nothing but technology. It has been a part of their life since they were born. Athletics can help get kids out of the house and to be a part of a team, all while improving their physical health. Sports have also been known to improve kids' social skills. This can be described in this quote from healthdirect.gov. Organized sports has many psychological and social benefits for children, even more than the physical activity during play. Researchers think this is because children benefit from the social side of being in a team and from the involvement of other children and adults. Of course, there is a downside to playing sports. There is always risk of getting physically injured. I know there are some people in here that have experienced injury due to playing sports. As I said earlier, both my parents were D1 athletes. My dad got a full scholarship to Clemson University for wrestling. That didn't last too long. Shortly after the start to his career at Clemson, he tore his MCL and ACL and ended up never wrestling again. My mom also got a full scholarship to Appalachian State University for tennis and ended up dislocating her shoulder, and since then has had 3 shoulder surgeries and a replacement. They both never got to finish what they started at their college due to injury. Although this is a great risk, they both have said they would never change any of it because they enjoyed playing while they were able to, and they are still involved in their sports today. Although sports can have the risk of injury, it can also bring new opportunities like it did for my parents, which is allowing athletes to attend high-level schools on scholarships. This brings me to my third and final point of how sports impact athletes in the classroom. There is a common stereotype that athletes aren't as smart as just the normal average student, but that is very far from the truth. Among athletes who reported their GPAs on the ACT questionnaire, 80.1% reported a GPA of 3.0 or higher, as compared to 70.5% of non-athletes who reported a GPA of 3.0 or higher. Frequent participation in sports at a young age encourages positive cognitive development. Routine participation in sports or physical activity has a positive relationship with higher levels of attentiveness in classrooms. I know a lot of kids in our school, and possibly some in this classroom, that would not be attending school if it wasn't for sports. Schools require you to have high grades to be able to participate in any extracurricular activity such as athletics. This pushes kids that have no motivation in the classroom to get their work done so they are able to play the sport that they love. Some people may argue that being involved in a sport distracts you from your education, and I know every coach that I have had makes sure that you have enough time to do homework and go to study halls to bring your grades up. So far, I have shown you all the different aspects of sports can have on athletes on and off the field. Although there can be downsides to it all, I would say the good outweighs the bad when it comes to sports. That being said, if someone asked me if I had the chance to start over and decide whether to have sports in my life or not, The answer to that question would be no. I wouldn't change a thing. Thank you.